Hello, welcome back to MPTS. My name is Jay Bickerton. I'm the editorial director of Broadcast Tech. I'm here with Jenny. Let me get your surname right. Springett. Good. AI consultant and development exec. I've written down what I think is your career potted into sort of the AI bit anyway.
Yeah.
I hope this is right. Worked in unscripted TV for more than 15 years.
Yeah.
Good. You're an AI specialist with early experience while at BBC Studios.
Yes.
Helped to create BBC's AI Academy training.
Yes, and editorial policy.
There you go, and editorial policy.
Yeah.
You now do AI training and guidance across the industry.
Yes.
And you also generate AI content, which I know for a fact we chatted about
Busy.
it. Very busy. You do a number of days a week at Zinc
Yes.
as well. So welcome to the
you.
podcast. We're going to be talking about, later on upstairs at MPTS, we're going to be talking about drowning in AI slop.
Yeah.
So, that's the subject for today. And I wanted to have a quick chat with you about, what is AI slop? Is there anything wrong with it? If so, what should we be doing about it? How do you kind of create content? Because you do the generative AI that isn't AI slop.
I hope.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not. No, I totally do aim that.
Yeah.
I guess so AI slop, I mean, there's no official term. I've always kind of taken it to be content generated at speed, at low cost, specifically designed to appeal to an algorithm.
Yeah.
So designed to appear in your content feeds, whatever platform you're on, rather than AI used for the sake of storytelling or to give the viewer something new to them that they didn't previously have. So it's kind of cheap, throwaway, 7 seconds, and I'm on to the next thing, content.
So kind of for social media, do you think mostly, or?
Yes, I think there's a big difference between how the open platforms are responding to AI content and the closed platforms. So the open platforms where anyone can post, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah.
The closed platforms, the channels, anything that's curated.
Yeah.
These open platforms at the moment, there's very little legislation in place in terms of what they allow people to post.
Yeah.
And that's why we're getting this, have you heard the phrase dead internet theory? It's just bots talking to bots.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
It's why we're sort of getting if I scroll down my Instagram this morning and I was just like, well, none of this is real.
Yeah.
So that's why we're getting quite a lot of that on open platforms. And I think the closed platforms at the moment, what we offer is that curation. From commissioning level, that means that AI slop is not entering our industry, and hopefully won't. I don't want it to.
Yeah.
For me, we are creatives. We want to tell a story. The thing we care about most isn't getting the most views. Genuinely, we just want people to watch our shows and enjoy them.
Yeah.
And so
slightly different driver, isn't it? Yeah.
So when we use generative AI, and I'm not saying we shouldn't. I obviously do. Well, when we use AI, it should be to enhance the storytelling, to achieve something we couldn't. It's our ambition. It shouldn't be about redundancies or doing what we were already doing at lower cost.
And so that leads us on quite nicely to what you are using generative AI for in TV. Because I know you've got some really good examples of how you've used it.
So it's being used, obviously, ubiquitously across development, where there's far less risk in terms of IP infringement, copyright infringement, because it's the elephant in the room, but we've been stealing clips off YouTube for years. So there's an accepted level of criminality within development that is kind of just gone with. But the other place which I think is really interesting, where generative AI is really coming to the fore, is in factual programming, which seems really counterintuitive to the content.
Right.
But it comes from reconstructions. One of the most expensive parts of a factual program. One of the first places where the budget gets cut, and we all know budgets are getting cut. And so, I think because viewers are used to seeing dramatic reconstruction written on a shot, when they see reconstruction, or if you're feeling a bit more open, AI reconstruction written on a shot, it's not quite so jarring.
Yeah.
And it means that you can have these really cinematically beautiful shots in a very low budget program. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying. It's achieving something ambitious that we couldn't previously offer.
Yeah. And to that end, is this kind of historical stuff, or does it not necessarily have to be historical?
It's historical, quite a lot. I think that's the place where commissioning is finding it most comfortable to allow it, because no one's around to complain.
That's a good point.
There is some true crime which is you're using generative AI reconstruction, but obviously incredibly sensitively.
Yeah.
We're talking about victims of crime here, friends, family, loved ones. So it tends to focus more on, cinematic sweeping wides and police cars driving rather than the actual. I don't know anyone who's done any horrible kind of crime scene reconstructions, and I really hope we never get there.
Yeah. Might be pushing your luck a little bit if you did. And I guess at the moment, to generate this type of content is relatively affordable because the kind of companies and services that are providing it aren't really charging what is costing them. And not passing that on to the consumer at the moment. So do you think there's a future in generative AI used for this type of scenario where you are doing it for cost saving, that if they do start actually putting those costs back onto the end user, if that's still a viable option?
I think as AI versus CGI, I always say it's cost versus control.
Yeah.
So if AI gets to the point where the cost is akin to CGI, why would you not go for the content that has the level of control that you desire?
Yeah.
If it's still competitively priced, then I think people will still continue to use AI. Prices are going up, certainly within
already?
Text chat.
Right.
They're going up. With the latest models from Claude and things, they've increased the cost of putting a tokenization. Is called how many tokens you use has gone up like 27 times.
Wow. Okay.
At the moment, they're not passing that on to the end user, but I'm sure they will. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming for generative AI, especially when we get to lawsuits. But at the moment, nothing's really been happening with no example case. But I know a lot of the bigger companies are building up war chests to sort of deal with those lawsuits when they come along.
It's some sort of inevitability, they think.
I think so.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think you just never know for certain if you are infringing on copyright. It's pretty obvious. If I generated something with Darth Vader in it, I'd probably know. But it would be very easy to accidentally do something in a style and you don't realise it's incredibly derivative.
Yeah.
We're seeing it a little bit in music. Taylor Swift has tried to
copyright herself
likeness.
Yeah.
And it kind of happened outside of AI with Ed Sheeran's music lawsuit.
Yes.
Obviously that's outside of AI, but just similarity too became enough to sue and to win. So I think it's probably coming for the AI industry, but it's not here yet.
And how do you mitigate against that when you're generating content through AI?
So the UK law is incredibly lax when it comes to AI generation, but I feel that as a global industry, our content needs to be compatible globally. So I try and comply to the EU AI Act wherever possible. So that is using platforms that have a closed network, so they don't train on my data that I input. It's using models that have signed up to the EU AI practice. So I know that it's the closest I'm ever going to get to knowing their training data is legally compliant.
Yeah.
They do not publish their training data, so that's the best I can get.
Right.
And then it's making sure that things like, it's tagged as AI generated in the metadata, and you keeping a log of everything that you're generating and what you're generating it on and the prompts you're using. It's interesting because I go into a multitude of production companies, and I won't name names,
No, sure.
but I regularly get contracts that are contradictory to the law around AI from massive media lawyers.
Is that just because they're not keeping up with what the current...
Yeah.
Right.
And it means contracts are taking a while to get sorted, and they're having to essentially rewrite them roundly saying, can't do this. It's things like signing over copyright. So they asked me to sign over copyright to everything I generate. I said, well, actually, I can't. You cannot copyright AI content, not without significant human input.
Right.
I can give you the full rights to it, but I can't give you the copyright because I don't own it.
Who does own that?
Well,
that's the complex.
A really good question, right? I should caveat everything I was saying with I'm not a lawyer. But nobody knows. It's a real grey area at the moment, and it's stressful for a freelancer. At the moment, if you generate content on your account as a freelancer, you are liable for any misuse not the company that you give that content to.
Interesting. Right. So that's you personally.
So that's me personally.
Okay, that's nice.
Bankrolling some of the biggest multinational companies in the world in terms of indemnity.
Slightly scary
So I
position
think it's really important for freelancers to be aware of it, because you need to make sure that you are compliant. No one else is doing it for you.
Yeah. So how do you sort of stop the future? Something happens in the future.
My head in that no.
Do you get them to sign something that kind of takes that liability away?
I quite regularly, I add a line into the contracts usually saying that it can only be used within the context of which it was originally contracted.
Right, I get you.
Then I know that everything I've generated is compliant with what I've delivered it for.
Yeah.
And they're not just going to then suddenly put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because just the level of risk management is different if it goes on screen than if it's just used for business to business or internal.
I see. Yeah. Brilliant.
So yeah, it's a real quite scary area.
Yeah. And as you say, I wonder if the awareness is there amongst other freelancers. So that's something they need to be thoughtful about.
Yeah.
Right. I'll do one more question. I think we don't want to cover the whole session we've got upstairs, but. Do you think platforms are incentivizing quantity over quality from the platforms themselves by their very design? And I guess then who's responsible for maintaining the standards of that? Is it creators, commissioners, all these platforms themselves, or is it a combination of everyone?
I think again I need to differentiate between open and closed platforms, because an open platform I think is incentivizing AI Slop.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what they need is just viewer numbers and churn rate. And I'm on to the next thing, that's disposable. And Fatih on the panel later will talk far better about compliance and legislation, but I do think some legislation might need to come into place in these open platforms. When it comes to closed platforms, like the television industry, like the film industry, like gaming, the good thing is we have that level of curation in the commissioner class. And at the moment, that is generally the broadcaster's rules. The commissioner has to sign off your use of AI. I think we're in a position at the moment where trying to talk around the houses a little bit, because I definitely don't want to name names now, but I'm talking to commissioners who don't really know AI is. I've spoken to some who've never opened ChatGPT, and some those are the people making decisions about what AI content we can and can't have on screen.
It's amazing how they not.
I know. Surely you've done it by accident at some point.
Yeah.
So I think they are brilliant curators, and they're a great stopgap that we have as an industry to make sure that we continue to deliver premium content. I think they need to be adequately trained, because the last thing we want is them to block content that is fine and allow through content that isn't. And that's a real risky position for them to be in.
Yeah.
If that's the buck stops on them.
Yeah.
They need to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I like to think we're at the point where we don't need to legislate too much within the television industry, because we have that.
Yeah. Kind of safeguards. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thanks so much, Jenny. Hope everyone's found that useful. It was great chatting, and so I'm looking forward to our session later on today at MPTS. Enjoy the rest of the live stream today, and we'll catch you later on. Thanks very much.